Okay, go ahead.
Who's gonna introduce us now that we don't have Ty?
That's your job because I'm doing the transitions.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
that's all on you, Chris.
Well, unfortunately, Ty decided to quit. He dropped out.
No way.
Yeah.
So
he was my favorite.
Wow.
Yeah, that's okay.
Why?
I think the show would be better off without him.
What?
So.
Oh God. Wow. All right.
Sorry,
that's the whole
Theotis,
topic, yeah.
but welcome. We're back. You've been served. I'm Chris.
I'm Robert.
I'm Diana.
I'm Jacob.
And Jacob is my brother. We've referenced him a couple of times, but we finally decided to have him on in the loss of George and Ty. You know, he's not as good. He's basically a secondary me. So if that tells you anything,
Yeah, I'm terrible.
We have
You don't agree, Jacob?
we have D here, who's got some very special topics to bring up to us today.
Not by choice. You guys brought it up.
Not by
No,
choice.
Not by choice.
Not by choice. Just like this. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I think it's by choice.
I don't know. Well, yeah, okay. If you wanna say it like that.
We're not gonna get into
It's a little bit by choice. But what we will say is, as we've talked about previously, D is pregnant.
Yes. And I only have 10 more weeks. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then it's
Nice.
over. And
No more suffering,
thank you.
huh?
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
And I can finally have a beer.
So
The shit she looks forward to.
I can finally have a beer.
So the last time we had you on, you talked a little bit about being pregnant, but I don't think you had a name or knew the gender of the baby yet.
Yeah,
So,
just because it didn't really hit until like I started feeling all the movements and stuff like that. I mean, I would see her on the sonograph.
Temptation. Oh my God.
so all right.
Stop
So
trying
then-
to kill these
You
babies,
can drink
Robert.
one. I know.
Well, okay.
Damn it.
So tell me then. What is the gender? And secondly, what is the name?
It's a girl, and her name's
Guys,
gonna be
get ready.
Penelope Ivy.
Man, when she hits the streets, she's gonna be going to all the gay clubs too.
That's what's up.
Just like Chris and Diana.
That's what's up.
Yeah. No, she's not.
Hey, I hope
She
I
is
hope I
not
see her-
following in my footsteps.
Wait,
I hope I see her there.
That's a whole question actually. Do you want your kids to turn out like you?
Not at all.
Why not?
Why not? Yeah.
Well, because I turned out the way I turned out because of my childhood. I had a lot of trauma as a kid, so they're not gonna have that because, of course, I'm protecting them from that. You know.
Well, you say that, but I feel like you're traumatic on your own.
Well,
No.
Like just dealing with you in my own life the past couple of years, I've had a lot of trauma.
No.
shit.
Because even like
That's loaded.
even my 6-year-old daughter, like I'll talk to her about like tattoos and stuff, and she doesn't show any interest, which is beautiful because
For now.
yeah, well, no, she doesn't.
No, let her
She's
let her
scared
get
of needles. We had a whole
Hey,
conversation.
hold on. Let her get older. Hold on. Is she quiet in school?
Oh, she's beautiful in school. Like she's
So
so good.
she's quiet.
Well, you can be beautiful in
she-
school, but not quiet in school.
No, she's a helper. She does very good in reading. She helps other kids.
She
The
gonna
teacher-
wild out.
So a
She
teacher.
gonna
No,
wild
she's
out.
not.
She gonna
No,
wild
she's
out.
not.
So
She's a teacher's pet, is what you're saying.
I gotta
pretty
say,
much.
I'm a little bit surprised that you want your child not to like tattoos, given how much you like tattoos.
I would rather she didn't, just because not every kid knows what to get, and I don't want her to be like one of those. I don't know who she's gonna hang out with in the future. I don't know who's gonna be an influence, because of course I'm gonna want to be there all the time, but it's not always gonna be like that. So
Yeah.
the good thing is that I had good parents that were always on me, so I didn't get stupid shit tatted on me. I have friends that did.
I don't know. I mean, you have the Joker all over your
That's
body.
different.
So you
Is
don't want
it
your
is
daughter
it
to get
different
any
or
lame
is it
tattoos?
exactly the
No,
same?
it's not, because I love the Joker. That's
Wait, you
different.
have the ha shit all around you,
Yeah.
right?
I
Look
have
at
it
you.
all.
Look at
You. Oh, and then they saw my room. Robert saw my room. That's
Robert,
another
what were you
topic.
doing? Wait, are you the father?
Am I no. I was
Are you sure?
in a happily committed relationship
I mean,
with producer.
I'm over here thinking that's gonna be a fucking albino baby.
No, the twist is they were both in my room.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That must have been a hot threesome right there.
So Ingrid got D pregnant.
Yes.
Oh shit.
You
Hey,
heard it here first, folks.
Ingrid.
So
Good job.
they know I'm a
Producer,
hardcore
what good
Joker
job.
fan.
You defied the laws of biology.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
You and me. That's why I'm always on this podcast, because I'm part of family now. No, just
I get it. It makes sense. It makes sense.
no, but I don't want my daughter to get tattoos. If she does, I'm not gonna oppose from it, but I can't stop her. So I'm just hoping that she comes to me and she's like, I want one, and I'll take her, and then I'll see what she wants, and then be like, okay, all right.
Well, let me open up the topic a little bit, especially since George isn't here, so he can't complain about it. Do you guys want your kids to have tattoos?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind it.
You would like it. Okay. What about you, Jake?
I think that I don't want kids to get tattoos.
Well,
That's
no,
my
that's
opinion
not.
on
No,
the
no, no.
topic.
I mean, your
I like
kids
where you
once
went.
they.
I like
Yeah,
where you
that was
went.
clever.
Yeah,
I
that
don't.
was.
I'm annoyed, but it was clever.
So
No, but
when they grow up,
yeah, when they grow
I'm
up.
gonna put a barcode on
I
it.
don't think that's my.
that is not funny for so many reasons.
Okay, so
I caught that quick.
I don't think it would be my decision to say whether or not they
No,
as
no,
adults
of
can-
course not. But you can still have preferences. It doesn't mean they'll listen.
True.
I wouldn't get a
True.
tattoo, so I wouldn't want my child to get a tattoo. I'd say, if I have a child,
Yeah.
that's my opinion.
I mean,
Well,
for me, if it happens, it happens. But I mean, I would rather her not taint her skin.
Plan to be like D.
I like how you say that and yet continue to be somebody with
Well, because
it
I-
all over you.
I
Like
have-
it's so oh my
I
god.
plan to be like D.
Alright.
Tattoo my chest
That's
all the way
because you
down to my
don't.
wrist.
That's why I say don't judge a book by its cover. You don't know the pages within my book. Oh, you like that, huh? Quote me. Quote me.
I didn't like that
That
because
was a bit
it
cheesy.
disproved my point.
Whatever.
But
Just a
but-
hater.
no, all right. Well, look.
Just accept it, Robert.
Speaking of haters and lots of and things that we don't want. We've been talking about mental illness a couple of times on this podcast. Actually, the past 3 that have come out have all touched on mental illness.
Now the question is your baby gonna be crazy?
Probably it's D's.
Yeah, well, yeah.
If it's Robert's kid, I
That's
believe
by
it.
environment. Though.
No, but I wanted to bring up something that I thought was interesting, and Jacob actually brought to the forefront today earlier. Was this mental illness discrepancy in socio-economic status?
Big
So
words.
yeah, I know. Thanks. I came up with them myself.
That's too big, man.
No.
Well, actually, look, we're gonna go back. I'm gonna raise my hand because I don't listen.
No,
Anyway.
go ahead.
That's
So,
that's law school. You
We
raise
both
your hand.
came up with a topic because I was like, "What do you want for Christmas?" And he's like, "Happiness." And I was like, "Yeah, I know that." I'm like, "Yeah, you have money."
Happiness.
And I'm like, "That's how you know
A
you got
penis,
money.
huh?
That's how
Yeah.
you know you got money." Talking about want happiness.
No.
That was, yeah.
Well, what's interesting is that the statistics show that higher socioeconomic status, so more money, generally equates to more mental health issues.
More money,
yeah.
more problems.
Yeah, more money, more problems.
that,
It's
Doesn't buy
interesting. It's interesting because obviously when we talk about this, we do have to take into account that in underprivileged communities, it's probably underreported, right?
Yeah.
But taking that away, not talking about that for a second, and just talking about why people who are so well off would have more mental health issues, I think is an interesting thing. And especially because we're all speaking about it, or well, mostly speaking about it from a place where we are not part of that. You know, most of us are not part of that upper echelon. We don't have a ton of money. We don't come from a ton of money. So we're talking about it from the outside. And even speaking for myself, Jacob and I, sorry, I know I'm going on a little bit.
Get it.
The
white man taking
but
over.
no, Jacob,
I feel like I'm at
Jacob and I, the 2 white men
The 2
taking
white men
over.
taking over.
Yes, now that I got a buddy. No,
I feel like I'm the darkest dude in this shit right now. I
for
feel
real.
Like,
Oh, you was
well,
white too.
we're
white too.
we're darker than D. It's true.
yeah,
Whatever.
we're the darkest person here.
No.
Haters.
Well, actually, I think producer might be.
Producers
Oh
albino too.
God.
No, all right. Well,
Yeah.
look.
She's white by
Where
association.
where Jacob and I grew up was right next to a town called Palo Alto.
Yeah.
And Palo Alto at the time when we were growing up was going through a suicide epidemic. Because a lot of people there were suffering from depression and other mental health issues.
Camp Stanford.
And look, well, it wasn't that. It was high school. It was high school
I'm
kids.
kidding.
And I don't want to jump too deep into that, but Palo Alto also happens to be one of the richest places in the United States.
Yeah.
That it is.
And I think it's really interesting that was the place that, we had this happen.
I think there is if you want to
Go
first.
for it.
I think there is an issue, and with the idea that richer people do have more mental illness. I feel like a lot of extremely communities in extreme poverty, they have to make a decision between, am I going to eat tonight, or am I going to pay $300 to some therapist to talk me through my stuff?
Not really.
So like,
Oh,
Well-
we come from two different backgrounds.
No, I don't agree. Just because I know that just for most of them, it does depend on, like, I gotta put food on the table, but people that have money and people that don't just learn how to appreciate things more. So the person that has more money, of course, isn't home as much, doesn't appreciate the family as much because they're making that money, and as versus someone who's in poverty and has to provide food and is appreciative of that food that they're giving their family and having that family to come home to.
Yeah.
You know? So I feel like that's more of where we're different in your socio-economic status.
I think, to your point, D, I would actually kind of agree. I think, although I might phrase it differently, when you're growing up, or even when you're living in a place where you are living paycheck to paycheck, you always have a purpose, right? Like, it sucks, it's shitty, you feel shitty because you're stressed, but you always have something to do, you always have something you need to do. And it doesn't give you the time to focus on how meaningless your life could be, or how unimportant you are. When you, not to, say, oh, feel bad for all these rich people who have everything, but if they do have everything, they don't have to work for anything. So they're sitting there, and they have no purpose. And I think that is conducive to more mental health issues.
I've actually talked to a few people that I'm in law school with right now. Those motherfuckers are too rich. Like, the more money that there is, the more pressures are going to apply on you, and the more it fucks with you mentally. Your parents aren't going to take everything that's going through your mind and into consideration. They expect way too much. I think we just flatline. And it's majority of the ones that I've noticed that are more well off than others that have mental issues with me right now, like in school. So not with me personally, but they have the mental issues. They are the ones that have got the disability, extra time and everything. And I keep looking at them like, you look normal, everything seems to be fine, what is going on? Obviously depression falls under that category of like mental issue as well, but I don't know what's going on with them. As for like people who don't have a lot of resources, like a lot of capital, whatever, at least in my family, they never wanted to go because it was a cultural issue. It's like, I'm not crazy. Yeah. It's like, I'm not crazy. Why do I need to talk to somebody?
Yeah, and I think there is that stigma around it with any culture. Yeah. I mean, maybe especially with yours, but it's like you don't want to be perceived as that person. Yeah. You don't want to be perceived as the suicidal person or the crazy person, or and going to a therapist, you get that perspective. You get people looking at you different. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of like, if I had Joker tattoos all over my body, you'd look at me different. Yeah. It's exactly like that, So it's like I look at that person and I'm like, that person should not be in my house. It's actually so I've applied for a gun license because D is in my house so regulally. Hey, I want to make sure
you would apply for a gun license.
If I apply for a license, they'll look at me and be like, I don't know.
Which is the opposite of what it should be, honestly, given how things have been going on.
Exactly.
And you made me so ashamed. I hate my excuse right now.
I'm kidding, D. I love you.
I'm flying out this Sunday, and I'm kind of curious to see how the fuck it's gonna be with TSA. Am I going to get that random search? What's going to happen?
So I actually have some... Sorry, do you want to go ahead?
No, go.
I learned something about the TSA, which I didn't know before, because you know how it's meant to be like random checks, right? So I had this teacher that was, we'll say Arabian, because I don't know what...
Let's just say Middle Eastern.
Middle Eastern, sure, yeah. I don't know what the PC term is, right? But she was born in America. She's really American, but that's where her heritage is, so that was her last name. Yeah. And so every time she would go to the what is it called? The airport, she would get a random TSA search, right? And then she married a white man. Oh. And her last name changed. Oh. And she never got it again. So these random checks, they're really more about your last name, right? If
Racism.
If
It's
your
still
last
around.
name looks white, you're not gonna get.
Yeah, if
you
your
know, a
last name
random
is
check.
Patterson, then you're not gonna.
Shit, my last name is War. They're gonna think my backpack's a bomb.
War. Wait, your last name is War?
Guerra, yeah. Legit translated as war.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Robert, do you want to switch seats?
I'm okay over here, buddy.
Typical, just
I'm
like
fine.
your brother.
You know, it's funny that you bring that up because one of my Canadian friends from San Francisco, when she was flying back, she's like, man, I fucking hate going through TSA. I'm like, why? Because you know these random checks. I'm like, yeah, they're never random. Every time I go, they're always like, oh, random check. I forgot what her last name is, but it's something Middle Eastern. She's, I think, Pakistani.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I said that wrong. They're gonna fucking kill me for that at school. They listen to this,
Mm-hmm.
so.
Well, I'm glad.
Yeah.
Thank you, law students. We appreciate you.
Yes.
Yeah, so she got the balls to ask the TSA agent.
She did?
Oh yeah,
She had balls?
She had she had the courage, I guess.
You learn something new every day.
I'm gonna get shit for that too. Damn it. San
You
Francisco.
just can't win.
Anyway, she grew the courage to ask. There you go, proper. Are these ever gonna stop being random? And the TSA agent looked at her and just said, "Stop being smart."
Stop being intelligent and figuring out the shit that we're doing.
Right?
Okay, yeah.
America, land of the free and the home of the Whopper.
Well, the Whopper's not half bad though.
What does the Whopper
If we're being
have
real.
anything to do with mental illness
It
discrepancies?
doesn't have anything to do with it. Well, I mean,
Well, maybe perceived mental illness discrepancy,
Maybe.
right?
Yeah.
Because I think there is this feeling that people from the Middle East do have a mental issue if they're willing to kill themselves for a cause.
exactly.
Oh yeah.
But that's also not an accurate depiction of most of the people there.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if you wanted to pick people on craziness, let's talk about all these shootings.
oh my God, don't start in on my race.
I have
People
a
are willing to
question, but
kill
is it
themselves
really-
for a cause.
Is it really crazy, or is it just the way they're conditioned? Because they're conditioned to have to die once they grow up, right?
Well, it's crazy within our culture, and also, I mean, everybody's conditioned to have to die once they grow up. If you really, but no, I
But,
hear
yeah.
what you're saying.
It's a circle of life.
But no, within that religion, that's not true. Because I've read the Quran, but
Well, if you read the Bible,
But
the Quran,
certain-
or
they're very
the
similar.
Torah,
Yeah,
they're all the same.
But what's interesting is that certain households do teach that way, right?
Yeah.
So in the same way that it's like that would be saying, well, all white people, love shooting shit.
You guys do.
That's my point. Is like yeah, there are some
Yeah.
cultures of white people, some families that do, but that's not true about every family.
You
To
won't
be
fi-
fair, it's very fun.
You won't find them in the West Coast.
Oh Lord.
All right.
Oh yeah.
For the record, I'm not related to him.
Yes,
I
you
love
are. You can't say that this time.
He's adopted. I don't know.
All right. So, but I still think that it's an interesting thing to talk about, going back to our original topic, because we often perceive.
Force isn't strong with me.
No, I'm sorry.
It's really
Never
nice.
was.
We often perceive rich people, or as lower class citizens, we perceive them as like, I kind of hate rich people sometimes.
Same.
Like in my head, I hate them because I feel like they have everything and I don't.
Did I tell you the story about when I was walking downtown San Francisco in the financial district on Mission?
You did, but you can tell it on the podcast. So let me finish real quick and then go
Get
for
it
it.
then.
All right, so
Eat it.
but I think it's important to keep in mind that just because we have these preconceived notions doesn't make them true.
True.
A lot of people have preconceived notions about like underprivileged people not being very smart, and that's not true either. So
Exactly.
we just have to try and move past our biases when we come upon this kind of stuff.
I like
Take
the
it
way you
away,
said-
Chris.
So there was this one time I'm walking down Mission Street, heading down to First, in the financial district. I was going to Starbucks. I got my drink, and I'm walking back to head to school. Sure enough, there's these people walking behind me. And keep in mind, this is a financial district in San Francisco. A lot of wealthy people. Huge amounts of money. I hear this lady saying, so I went out with this guy the other day, and we were talking a business transaction, and he offers me a contract worth $1 million. I'm like, ooh, okay, that's a lot of money. She responded by saying, and I quote, $1 million, you offend me. That's chump change.
Oh, damn.
Right? I was,
okay.
dude, I was ready to fucking spit my coffee out. Chump change, $1 million? Do you know how many fucking cars I could buy with that?
I must be a chump.
Oh, shit.
I think most people in the world are chumps.
Yeah, right? I mean, the average person probably carries $20 in their pocket.
I don't even carry that.
I
For
have
real.
$3
I wish I
in
had
my
that right
pocket
now.
right now.
Right?
And I carry my whole wallet in my pocket.
Yeah, man. I don't know. This lady was just straight up said, chump change. All right. You're throwing $1 million around like that. Can I have some?
Yeah, for real. If
Yeah.
that's chump change to
If
you,
it's chump change, just give it to me.
look, I'm just standing here. I'm willing to. I'll wait. You know, if you
That's-
got to go to the bank, we can. You know, I'll
Yeah.
come with you. I'll give you a ride.
So she said
But
for real.
that's what you call like a spoon-fed person,
Spoon?
right?
Yeah,
like
but-
silver.
Like silver
gold-
spoon,
Yeah.
yeah.
Everything about the financial district down there is like Wall Street. Stock this, stock that. There's a building called Salesforce. Well, and they have 4 towers. And they have their own fucking private, like, rail station and everything.
That's fucking.
It's fucking.
Right.
This is where
Look.
words matter. You have to really watch
Well,
what you say. But
Follow
that's
that.
okay.
Speaking of watching what you say,
Oh,
I'm like rich people and getting offended over things is really their forte, right? I'd say that's true. Like generally, people who are richer, along with mental illness and stuff like that, they also seem to really become more volatile about things.
That's not
Yeah.
true. That's only a certain section of rich people, like the woke rich people. There's other people
even some
that.
of the woke ones are just. I mean, they. All right, let me rephrase that. They don't really have to be woke. I worked for this Ukrainian dude. He was really rich, very wealthy. So this dude would get extremely offended by a small number contract. So I guess immigration services, he would normally charge about like $5 to $6 grand for like a case.
Damn.
If he got one that was like $3 grand, he would be offended by it,
That's okay.
and he'd get mad, like talking shit, mad, and you'd probably lose your job.
Damn. All right. Well, hold up, because. Sorry. I noticed that when Jacob was speaking, Dee was about to speak.
Oh,
Um,
No,
so
you didn't.
cut her off.
yeah, no, you were about to. Do you have anything to say? If you forgot, that's fine. But
Yeah, I forgot.
that's all right. Okay, so yeah, I agree with you. I think that money is something that I think the richer you get, it's weird. You almost care about money more. You know, which is
That's
the
if you come from the
that's
struggle.
that's the opposite. No, not even.
Actually,
not even.
that.
It's like I actually feel like it's kind of the opposite. If you come from the struggle, you understand where your like priorities should be.
Yeah.
Like you
That's
prioritize family and stuff like that. You don't necessarily prioritize money in all regards. Whereas people who come from money prioritize money over everything.
Well,
Yeah.
I think we're thinking about it different.
Look
Well,
at Trump.
because they were raised in.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you would take care of your money more.
I like
like if you come from the struggle, like you would
I think you would want. I mean, I think you would want to help people out a little bit more. Like if you come from the struggle, because the people that I've met that have actually come from the struggle, sure, like you want to take care of it a little bit more, but you also are willing to give more back to your community
yeah.
and help those.
But you wouldn't throw it as like someone who just gets money, was born in money.
Yeah, I know they throw it around,
Yeah.
but with the purpose of getting that shit back.
yeah, they throw it around, but like if you fuck them over, you're dead.
Yeah.
Like you know.
Think
No,
about-
you
guys ain't
you
monsters.
are.
No, you are.
You
Think
are.
about-
It's not they'll.
Think about who's always.
I come partially from that world, so let me speak for
Partially?
you. Yes, partially.
his mama's side.
Yeah, my mama's side, not my dad's side.
Robert's new name, Roberto.
Roberto.
That's not a new
Robertito.
name. My mom used to call me that growing up.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Oh shit.
So you
Fuck
were
it,
at
we'll
Home
just keep
Depot.
it Roberto.
yeah, I'm cool with it. I just don't like Robertito because a lot of Hispanics call me that, and that makes me.
Robertito?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Especially Diana, not you, Diana.
Robertito.
The other Diana.
yeah.
She likes to call me that.
She's small though. Don't
Yeah, I know. So how the hell can she call me that? Like, damn.
Why not?
It's because you're white. That's probably why.
Yeah, probably.
But
So do you think your dad kind of balanced your mom with the whole money thing?
I think. Well, I don't think he. I don't want to get too much into personal money politics.
Okay.
But if we were to get into it, I would say so I grew up, I would say, a lot more like my dad than I grew up like my mom's side of the family.
He was poor.
Poor in that area, right? Which is
Oh yeah,
not
that area is
which is not poor necessarily in this area, right?
Yeah, here
Oh,
you're.
yeah.
you'd be
So
well off.
it's not equivalent, but you know that's something. If we were to really go into that,
I've seen
I
the
would
area.
want to do it off the podcast.
Okay.
Mm.
But that's to a little bit of background.
I've seen the area Robert grew up in, and wow.
It wasn't
Y'all
like
got
that,
some
too?
bomb ass croissants.
We know.
Bomb ass croissants.
I know.
That fucking almond paste down there. What do you guys put in it?
Look, I will say this: I feel like the white people, like the good white people food, is A1 up there, and it's bad down here. So if we're talking like French, Italian,
Dude,
stuff
yeah.
like that, like it's really good up there, and it's really bad down here. But the Mexican food is great
The
down
Mexican
here.
food is great down here. The Mexican food is catered to
Yeah.
white people up there, and it upsets
Legit
me.
American food then.
Legit, there. Well, I don't.
You ever had a burrito?
Burgers.
A
I mean,
burrito? Like I
yeah,
had-
or like a
Chipotle.
Chinese cookie,
Or a Chinese cookie?
like yeah, just stuff we made from that
Yeah.
didn't actually exist in that culture.
A
Yeah.
Whopper.
No.
Oh, that's what it is.
So no, I don't. American food. I mean, America is a hodgepodge of cultures, and in that way, I think American food is.
Okay, so
Is
what
your
about
food-
white food? Like, what
white
do you
food.
consider to be
Well,
white food?
even then,
Peach
it's
cobbler.
like people like to talk about how white people have no culture,
You don't.
and that's not true. So
False.
white people will have different foods depending on what culture they came from, right? If they came from Italian, if they came from Spain, England, right? So you'll find different things in different white households. In the same way that you might find different foods from El Salvador versus Mexico, right?
True. Tacos and pupusas.
So
you're saying that Buca de Beppo is not authentic Italian
of
food?
course that's authentic. What kind of question is that?
All right, thank you.
I used to cook there.
I knew
Wait,
it.
you did?
No.
That place is bomb as shit, though.
Starbucks is authentic white food.
Actually,
Yes, it is.
I have something somewhat offensive to say. I don't like Buca de Beppo very much.
I don't
What?
either.
I don't
actually.
like it. It's just it's
I
kinda
like
trash.
I like the theme. I don't love the food.
What about Olive
Okay.
Garden?
and the bathroom,
I do like Olive Garden.
The
Olive Garden.
bathrooms make me
I've never tried
uncomfortable
Olive Garden.
because
The-
they
the
just
breadsticks
show
are fire.
like penises on the walls.
What? I haven't gotten to
They
the white
have
one.
like
Wait,
pictures.
which one are you going to?
I don't.
Like it's Italian places and like let's love the human body and everything, but also
Yeah, Jacob hates the human body.
yeah.
No comment here at all. Not even remotely.
And that is why they take you when you're drunk.
True. Very true.
Yes.
No,
Good
so
luck lugging around 200 pounds, though.
Oh, they'll take you. They will take you. Trust
Bottoms,
me.
I'm ready. No, I'm kidding.
Bottoms, I'm ready. I
you're
knew it.
violating so many
I
bro
knew it.
codes right now. I
really
swear.
am.
And speaking of bro codes, we have Jacob here, so you know what that means. We
Right.
have to do a bro code. So we have one all prepped up for you, and Jacob's gonna read it, and then we'll discuss.
Special thanks to Barney Stinson for this.
At the end of the
Gayest
podcast,
man
your
out
name's
there.
going to become Jacobo.
Yep.
Yep.
¿Qué?
You're Roberto, and that's Jacobo.
Jacobo dos.
Oh, yeah, I love that show.
Dude, same.
Wait, en inglés, por favor.
Okay, perdón.
Jacob, 2-2.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Jacobo
Okay.
dos.
Okay.
Article 15. A bro never dances with his hands. Wait, no. Shit.
Wait, what?
That's
Oh,
not the
shit.
wrong one.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no,
That's the wrong one.
it's this
He's
one
rusty.
right here.
He's rusty.
Oh,
I wanna know
I'm
what he
rusty.
dances
I apologize.
That was a flashback in time, guys. You remember that episode? Go check it out now.
There you go.
Promoted.
Link in the
Click the
description.
link.
Yeah,
Probably not.
It's on Spotify, YouTube, Anchor, TuneIn, and
Subscribe.
Stitcher. All right, go
I've done a
ahead.
bunch of things. I saw today.
I know it is.
I'm gonna do this again. Article 35. A bro never rents a chick flick.
So-
Why?
Why? Well, you wouldn't know why, because you're a girl.
I mean, am I?
I mean, I guess I violated the bro code. I didn't rent it. It was on Netflix.
It depends on
I
what,
feel like that counts.
it depends on what you deem as a chick flick.
All right, Notebook. Sometimes you gotta get a good cry on.
Notebook is a chick flick. I'm not even saying that I dislike it. It is a chick flick.
I don't cry to that shit, but it touches my heart. I'm like,
I've never watched.
That's what's up. And then when
you really
a little Haagen-Dazs ice cream.
I've heard of
Is
it.
High School Musical?
Wow.
Is High School?
You're going full white girl after a breakup right now.
I am. I've never done full white girl.
Is High School Musical
breakup,
a chick flick? Would you say? Is High School Musical a chick flick?
I think it's a childish.
So Jake, I didn't know that you were coming out yet.
So
High School Musical talk.
I'm coming out as straight again. Hey ladies.
Damn. There you go.
No.
Wait, are you sure it's not pansexual?
I don't know.
Look, at this point,
I don't
whatever
know.
you are, Jake, we accept you.
Whatever you identify as, I got you, man.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Man, what do you mean, maybe?
Maybe.
If you want to experiment, let's go to Castro.
No, but I do think
They will take the boy as soon as he hits the ground.
no. So, but for chick flicks, I mean, I think it depends. For me, my opinion is it depends why you're renting it. Are you gonna sit at home alone like Chris, eat ice cream, and watch it?
Fuck yeah! When you have a 70-inch
No.
TV,
And
you're
your
gonna enjoy that.
No.
Dress
If you do
and everything with your bonnet on.
Not in my little dress, but in my pink robe.
in his panties.
In your big dress.
In my pink robe.
No.
Well,
No.
Learning a lot from you
Look.
today.
If you do that, I think you're breaking a bro code. But if you're doing it and you're like, let's
how
say,
is it breaking a bro code though?
because that's a bro code.
You're getting in touch with
So
your
it makes
sensitive
so
side.
if you rent a chick flick, you're not a man or what?
Well, I wasn't done.
I
'Cause
guess
I was gonna give my own opinion on
If
what
you're
I think.
alone.
You're
All
very
right, all
chatty.
right.
No
I
more
guess-
nitro for you.
I guess the only chick flicks I've rented is Power Munch.
Well, this whole thing is about chatting. That's the whole point
I've
of the
never
podcast.
seen you this chatty.
Robert,
We're gonna buy some
Robert.
more of those.
Yeah.
Have you ever
Uh-huh.
rented a chick flick and watched it alone with no one else there? Just
No. And that was my point. I think if you're with a girl and you do it, or you are dating somebody, or you're doing it for another reason, you can get away with it.
But I think.
But I think if you're doing it on your own, that's a little bit. I don't want to say sad, but I mean sad.
So say.
But I
say-
think
I
this
do it to feel some emotion.
No, this
Say you
applies.
find
This
it
bro
on,
code.
like, TV,
I think
you
y'all
come
getting
across
it
it on
wrong
TV.
because
That too.
you guys are
Yeah.
thinking it's just by yourselves. But I think this means like if I'm kicking it with my homies, and it's like let's watch movies, and one of them brings a chick flick, is like, what the fuck are you doing? Like we're not all gonna watch a chick flick. I think that's what it means. You guys are taking it as singular.
Okay. Well, no. Well, I'm just giving my opinion on the bro code. But since I've given mine, why don't you give yours? What do you think the
I'm
bro
not
code should be?
I'm not a bro.
You're a bro by association.
Yeah, you're a bro by
There
association.
is
You
actually
can go.
another bro code saying nothing prevents a woman from being a bro. So you could technically be a bro.
Yeah.
So you're calling me a
Bam.
man.
Well,
No.
you're pregnant,
Just
but
kidding.
I'm not assuming your gender, but do what you gotta do.
yeah.
Welcome to the bro
Tell.
club.
So, what do you think of the bro code? Do you disagree? Agree? How would you change it?
But it doesn't make any sense to me. This is like whitewashed bro code. I don't know.
What's the issue with it?
This is the only bro
Well, I
code.
mean, I'm a girl and I don't fuck with chick flicks like that.
So what's girl code?
For movies?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't fuck with chick code.
Okay,
either.
all right. Let me
We only watch
rephrase the
Michael
question in terms that you'll understand. Because you talked about, you don't bring it to like if you guys are hanging out.
Yeah.
So let's say it's a girls' hangout, right? It's girls' night. You're gonna grab some ice creams, maybe some pizza. You're gonna watch something all together. Do you bring a chick flick?
No.
What do you bring?
Selena.
Whatever I like. Like if me.
You bring
personally-
Joker.
What if you like
Yeah.
exactly
Exactly.
a chick flick though?
I'll bring the Dark Knight.
Oh, dude.
Or like something like I wanted to watch The Irishman, and I didn't think to tell my sister because I was like, she's more girly, so I was like, she's not gonna want to watch it. But then I was like, I really want to watch it, and then she was like, that movie that you posted on your post, I was like, The Irishman. I'm like, yeah, I want to watch it. She's like, well, let's watch it. I'm like, well, I didn't think you would want to watch it, so I ended up watching it.
I bring Selena.
I don't like that movie for some reason. I'm sorry.
Wow, that's like offensive to
Not that I
Hispanic
don't like
culture.
it.
Like, damn.
I'm just not
Anything for
interested in it.
Selenas.
I watched it like 3 times tops.
What, Selena?
Yeah.
I watch it every year. She died when I was born.
Oh.
Well, same year. But still.
No, pues well.
say you come across a chick flick on TV. You didn't technically rent it.
Yeah.
But you found it on TV. What would you say? Is that breaking the bro code?
No, I think that's fine. I think that's fine because it's like you didn't pay for it. It happens to be there.
But
it's on.
But you
All
sat through every single commercial just to see if Jessica ended up with Chad.
All right, let's look at
You
this.
know?
like
And
this.
they did end up together, and it was
Technically-
sweet.
Technically, you did pay for it. Are you not paying for the services?
See, but the other option,
Let's
let's
look
say,
at proximity.
but you would be paying for it whether you were watching it or not, right?
I guess, yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
you'd either be sleeping or you'd be watching another channel, but either way, you'd be paying. I think so. You can kind of get away with it. They're like little
Loopholes.
loopholes. I think a better argument, right? Let's say.
Well, that's where I first watched The Notebook. It came on USA, and I had ice cream, so I'm like, fuck it.
I
Girls'
think
night
the
out.
chickiest chick
Yeah.
flick I've watched is Mean Girls.
That is a chick flick.
I've
Yeah.
never watched Mean Girls.
I don't like Mean Girls.
I don't intend to.
You should. They're like your sisters. No, just kidding.
Damn.
You,
oh,
you
damn.
met my sister?
I haven't, but
No, but I'm pretty sure.
But it's
they're white.
accurate.
yeah.
Wow.
Well, Mean Girls is dope. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It's. I've probably watched that movie 26 times, not by choice.
Nah, Mean Girls is ass.
Not by choice.
Not by choice.
I think
So because a girl wanted to watch it.
My
it
ex-girlfriend
is.
loved that movie.
It's surprisingly
Yeah.
popular amongst Hispanic communities.
It
Mean
really
Girls.
is.
It's not as popular amongst white communities.
That's what makes Hispanic
Yeah,
so
which is
mean.
weird. There are white girls that like it. Don't get me wrong. There are plenty that do, but it's just not as popular in my experience, for some reason.
The office I used to work at had a policy that on Wednesdays we would wear,
So they
we would wear
don't
pink.
exist.
So
Yeah.
what?
So
Is
the
it
Mean
just 'cause
Girls
they
don't
wanted the
exist in,
Devil
like, your
Wears
high
Prada or
school, your old
something?
high school?
Oh
Mean
no,
Girls,
well
man.
for sure they do.
Yeah.
There's every high school has that though. I think that
Did you-
group of like girls that's just kind of that are jerks. They don't even have to be friends, but
Dude.
that's just the phase that they're going through in that point in their
But
life.
like that like the school would surround themselves around those three people or whatever crowd it was.
No, not well. Maybe if they were really hot.
That shit exists
but-
in law school right now.
Really?
Yeah, that's just weird.
He's part of it.
That's just weird.
He's the leader.
Apparently, in law school right now, I have a gay lover. I'm like, what the fuck?
You have a gay one.
Apparently, I'm like, how do you guys come
Robert's
up with
jealous.
I
Yeah,
don't know,
what?
man. There's something
You
going on
didn't.
with
You
up
didn't
there.
even tell me, bruh.
that? People just assume, and it's not even
No,
like it's
people
not.
don't assume.
No, I swear. it's
Don't
not-
say that just
yeah.
because I'm here.
Los chismes.
What? So you're gay up there and you're straight down here? That's
Apparently,
crazy.
and then
That made it sound like you were talking about his head and his penis.
right,
Oh, yeah.
right.
His
His
head
head
and
and
his
his
other
other
head.
head.
It's weird, man.
Oh, Lord.
It's weird. It tripped me out. But yeah, I'm like, what the fuck? And it's not my section. My section understands that I love women. It's the other section.
And men.
Only you.
Oh,
What?
But
I never loved you, Robert.
damn.
Oh.
The offense.
You're my brother. You have to love me.
He's much younger. I heard he's, right for the picking.
Oh,
Oh. Oh, well.
careful there.
Statutory rape.
This
Wait,
is-
how old are
this
you?
is
I'm kidding.
That's fucked up.
San Francisco has
I
changed.
regret inviting Jacob already. Damn.
Hey, this wasn't me. This was him.
I know. Well, yeah. That doesn't mean
He's
I don't
getting
regret
closer.
inviting you. So we have a little bit of time, and we talked about Chris, you and I, and George and Ty. We talked about talking about the Joker.
Mm.
And it didn't. We didn't end up doing it. We didn't have the time.
No,
Have you, Jake, Diana? Have you guys seen Joker?
Yes.
Diana has.
I haven't. I really wanted to because you recommended it to me and
Yeah.
I thought it would be really good, but
Well,
I didn't get to the time.
Okay, I'm gonna talk about the ending if that's okay with you.
Get it.
I don't think it'll give away the film
I don't
gives
really
away
care that
everything.
much about spoilers.
because you know he goes crazy. That's really what I'm
We
talking about.
already knew that.
So
Okay.
Well, he really is crazy.
So I wanted to talk about the ending, especially as it pertains to rich people, which we were talking about earlier. To me, I interpreted it, and we can talk about comics too, because I know that's a little bit more your forte.
I love it.
But when I felt like it was a warning to rich people, like it was a warning to you continue to hate and hurt on people who are underneath you. Eventually, there's going to be an uprising,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh,
he
I'm
was.
getting ready.
And he was, yeah, I know. For real.
Legally.
I'm glad you got the message.
But no,
You're about to be severed.
well, I personally I view myself as part of that because
No, just kidding.
because I am frustrated. But I think that I really think that it's telling about. So let me start from the beginning. So
Okay.
when you take film 1, they teach you about history of film, right? And they teach you about how film throughout history has reflected the values of society at that time. So you look at what is it? There's a lot of anti-communist films that really the communists were represented by aliens, right? And then they would just kill all the aliens, or they would, there's even one about pod people that the name is escaping me right now.
Podist.
Oh,
No.
Is it Return of the Body Snatchers?
Yes. Well, it's not Return. It's just
Something of
Invasion.
the
It's Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
We watched that together.
Yeah. And all as time goes on, this continues to be the case. You can look at westerns. You can look at other things. This film, there's nothing in there.
I see.
This film is, I think, reflecting our current standards and how we feel. And I think a lot of people feel like rich people have had the power for too long. And I think if they aren't careful, that ending is very much like what we're going to see soon in the United States of America.
An uprising?
Yeah, an uprising, a fight, killing of people who are rich and in power.
I've got my little militia ready.
So and I'm trying to say this without giving away too much about the ending, but I really do think that that's the case, and I'd like to get your guys' opinion on it, because that's what I walked away from the film feeling.
I don't have an opinion.
Well, your opinion on uprising within the United States against the people in power, not your opinion on the film.
Okay. Fight the power.
Well, no.
That's my opinion.
All right, Black Panther, calm your ass down.
Here's the next question. You have an uprising. You bring these people down. You are the one in power now. What do you do then? It's just a cycle that's going to repeat itself.
Well, I'm not saying that I have the answer. I think it's a warning. I think it acts as a warning.
It definitely is. But I mean, we're just going to end up we're just going to be in the cycle over and over and over again. It's like, yeah, they had the power. We had an uprising. We brought them down. Now somebody else is in power. Or you could eventually conform to some good form of like communism, socialism. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people fucking hate it.
Well,
I'm
I mean,
not opposed
yeah.
to it,
And I don't think the Joker necessarily predicates socialism. I don't think it's about that as much. I think, if anything, it's about capitalism.
Yeah.
But
it's the isms.
It's the isms.
It's the isms.
What do you think, Dee? I know you were about to speak a second ago.
To me, I just feel like it's a beautiful dream, but it just wouldn't get to it. I see what you mean with the film, but I just feel like the white people just have too much power.
White people always demonizing our race. They're rich other people too.
Okay, well, no, it's the white person that has the power.
I haven't either, but there's a lot of rich Arabs out there.
I don't think you can say that all white people have power.
Not all white people, but that's the most people that are in the top.
Yes, you're right, but I don't think what I'm talking about is going up against the people who are in power.
Let's talk about the 1%.
The people in power have money, and money makes the world go round.
I'm not. Well, let me finish.
No, you wanted me to talk. Now I'm gonna talk.
Yes, I do want you to talk, but I want you to engage in a discussion with me.
This will be about the 1%.
Yes. So what I'm saying is the people that we're rising against is not. At least I don't think it should be race based, because that would just be racism. It should be based on who is in power. And yes, there are a lot of white people in power. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's mostly white people. There are also a lot that aren't in power. So my feeling is, and what I feel like the movie is saying, is that a lot of people in power are going to be facing an uprising, not strictly white people. And I hope that is the case. I don't want the people in power, specifically the past 4 years,
Yeah.
I don't want those people in power, and I don't think they should be in power. And I think the only way to see a change is to have that kind of revolution.
But even if you have that revolution, don't you think that the change has to come within?
I don't think so. I was talking, in a previous episode with Chris about how, and I don't think it's come out yet, but about how revolution has been spreading through Latin America.
Oh yeah.
And it's come in many ways as through the form of corrupt leaders and uprisings. Mm-hmm. A lot of terrible things have happened. A lot of people have died, and it's unfortunate. But I was also saying that I think it's a domino effect, where we've seen it happen with more and more places down there. It started with, I think, just what was the first one? I want to say.
Let's see.
Bolivia, maybe, or
Bolivia, and it worked its way up to like Venezuela. Right now, Venezuela has obviously
the biggest one.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
Two factions completely fighting for power in that country, and then you have the people in the middle who are suffering because of these uprisings on both sides.
Yeah.
I was actually talking to someone from Venezuela yesterday. She legit just got here. She was telling me exactly how everything is going on, like down there. She's an attorney down there too. Mm-hmm. She's really cool, really smart, really funny. But like, she's part of the people that are stuck in the middle. She's Jewish, and the country right now is a power struggle. People will get killed if you say the wrong thing. So say you say Nicolás Maduro is a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't agree with Nicolás Maduro. You will get killed.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, my point is the United States likes to think it's separate from Latin America, South America, but it's not. It's a part of that, and as it works its way up, I wouldn't be shocked if we see America, maybe not as much, but go through a similar revolution.
Mexico's going through it right now. They're at least showing the first steps.
Yeah. What do you think?
The whole Chapo thing?
Well, that, and with like the whole National Guard shit that they're setting up, exactly like Venezuela, the GNB. That's where it first started. They had socialism already, but socialism got too much. Like, it got too much power done in Venezuela to the point where the president became a dictator. Like, he changed the constitution so that he
could stay in power
and have all the power. So judiciary and executive has no checks on him. It's just him.
And then there was an election, right? And he won again, but the polls were highly suspect. So now a lot of people are revolting and saying that the other person should have won.
Yep.
So they have like two official presidents right now recognized by different nations.
Yep. Damn, we recognize the opposing party.
Yes, I do too.
I think we just need to stop interfering. That's what I think.
Well, that's the thing. When you
right now we aren't openly interfering.
Yeah, but we have like I think I read a statistic. It was like 23 times or something where we interfered and we caused something bad happen.
At this point, it's a power struggle between superpowers.
Well, it's America. We like to think of ourselves as the saviors, and really we're not.
We're really not. We go in and fuck shit up. I think why we're intervening and messing with Venezuela is because of the natural resources, and obviously it's two superpowers that are fucking with this country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have Russia and the United States.
Russia has military bases set up down there and rockets or missiles, whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's bad because that's our backyard. Yeah. Literally, if they shoot something, they hit LA, we're gone.
Yep.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Well, anyway, all of this to say, we got a little bit off track. But do you think?
This is interesting.
Do you think? Well, we can get back to it, but
I'm gonna listen to the podcast. That's how interested I am.
The original question is, do you think that revolution is possible or no, and why?
Well, I'm in between. Like I said, it sounds like a beautiful dream, but will it do some type of like a big effect? I don't believe it can. It'll do an effect, but just not as big. I mean, I feel like in the other countries it happens because they're all mostly poverty. I mean, look at the government in Mexico. It's just horrible, everything over there is just horrible. And the thing that I was talking about was El Chapo's son when they locked him up, and then they did all that shooting and massacre, and right away they took him out because they don't what was it, the president?
Yeah. So the military was outgunned by the
gangs. Yeah, I've heard about it.
That just makes the government look weak, and now it for sure lets them know that you can't handle us, the rest of the cartels are definitely going to take your ass out. If you can't take one little state out compared to the whole military, then your country is a joke and it's shit. That means we can invade your ass whenever the fuck we want.
Now that's the ending of the Joker right there. But I feel like the United States is just stronger in that aspect, you know? And
this is the way I see it.
It wouldn't happen that way, you know?
Okay. Yeah, I hear you.
If things are done properly after a revolution in the United States, then maybe we'll be able to have a country that works for everyone. Like, let's see. The Constitution is an old ass document that's not supposed to. Well, it's supposed to be changed based off of amendments, but for some reason, regardless of whatever it was enacted, it still seems to apply to a bunch of situations that we're facing right now that we completely seem to be ignoring. Yeah. Like, I mean, impeachment hearings that we're having right now. We went over this in the last podcast, I think. Yeah. But like, it's all the power struggle, and obviously power is the main word, something that we should be looking at. I don't know how it's going to be distributed, but there has to be some type of amendment enacted in there that's going to make all of this shit change.
Yeah, I agree. And Jake, I know you were about to say something, so why don't you speak on it?
What I was going to say is it's kind of similar to what Dee was saying. I was going to say that I don't believe... I think that it's possible. I think it's definitely possible. I don't think it's likely, though. Because we have a system set up where we peacefully trade rulers with, like, presidents. Trade presidents, which a lot of other countries don't have. And I feel like a lot of people in America, at least, respect that process. I said process really weird there. They respect that process.
What's your Australian accent?
And that process. That process, mate.
That process, mate. So I think that I think that it's unlikely because of the respect that we have for that system that's put in place.
Well, you don't think that respect is degrading? I mean, I think if we look at history and we look at, what's changed in the past just 4 years, the respect for the presidency, the respect for all of this is degrading. And I think furthermore to your point, you're talking about how they were in poverty. Sorry, I'll let you go in a second. But, these Mexican countries are in poverty. But if you look at the discrepancy between us and the way it's been trending for, 40, 50 years, we're getting more and more in poverty. I think there's a good argument that, eventually this is going to be the place that we're in, even if we're not there yet. Because the 1% just keeps getting richer. And,
Simpsons predicted it.
That's true.
They really did. Yeah. They really did.
So, sorry, Jake. What were you gonna say?
I liked that you spoke in. I think that I don't agree with the fact that we will become like that. I think that, it's entirely possible, as I was saying, but I again don't think it's likely because there isn't going to be something, and there never has been something in this country, at least, where there would be like a different president trying to say, hey, I'm the president. No, I'm the president. No, I'm the president. I feel like there wouldn't be enough support for that other guy trying to say he's the president.
There's this...
Sorry, that was stupid.
Go for it.
No, I was saying that it was stupid.
Well,
no, you're not stupid. Go ahead, Chris.
Have you guys? I'm pretty sure you guys have heard J. Cole's KOD album.
No. Yeah.
Somewhat.
So there's a song on there called Brackets. Right there, he brings up a great point. How Uncle Sam is taking like 50% of what he earns, and people that are similar to him can't necessarily succeed in this world because, people who are different color than him are choosing
where that money's going.
Yeah.
He talks about having an app where you could choose where the money is going.
Where you can choose where you can invest on it. Brilliant. That is really fucking smart. It's 2019. I'm not gonna fucking want to sit around.
About to be 2020.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit around and want to let some old ass man in a suit in the Capitol just fucking choose what he thinks his people want. Let me choose where my money goes.
Exactly. It's the people deciding, not some.
No, just to play the devil's advocate, because I agree with you. And I'm sorry to cut you off. I know
you don't. I just agree.
But I think, if we really give people the option to say their money is going this direction, I think we're gonna find that a lot of people are not gonna give their money.
True.
And our government will cease to run. Because everybody, not everybody, but most people are greedy.
Well, I'm not saying
most people want all the money, and I can't blame them for that. We're living in a world of poverty a lot of times. So I almost feel like maybe it's warranted to take that money.
Is that yours?
No, that's not me.
Mine doesn't have an alarm.
Yeah, that's not me. Well, it's not to say that I don't want to get rid of taxes. It's tax me, but when it comes to choosing where it's gonna go, allow me to actually choose.
So you're saying on an app, right? They have this amount of money, they're going to take it regardless, but you could choose. Okay, I want to put it towards education, towards parks. Yeah, I like that idea.
See, that one would work. It would make more sense to do that, and obviously it would be reasonable things, not unreasonable, unconscionable shit that just doesn't, necessarily make sense and work all around. Because do we really need to fund wars in our military that much?
No, but
we don't.
In fairness, a lot of times it's going straight towards people, not specific people or specific groups, but it's going towards corporations.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's pretty immoral. Jake, go ahead, and then we got to close it out because we've hit our hour mark.
I don't think that the app idea would work. Because
oh no, it wouldn't. We're just saying it would be good.
Yeah.
If everyone had a phone, yeah, maybe. I think that there should be something involved in, I guess, the voting process. I can't vote, so
make it mandatory.
I think that people should
give everybody the day off.
Decide what they value more when giving money to certain parts of the government.
Yeah, so vote for which one would be valued more.
Yeah, which one is most important to you as
a
person.
That makes sense. And, I know I said we'd end after you, but since Chris and you and I have talked a lot, let's end on whatever D has to say. And then, Chris, you can close it out since you're tied for today.
Oh, damn.
Why I gotta close it? We were doing so good. I was listening. I
Go
was
ahead,
listening.
D.
Damn it! I learned
No,
a lot
you're not
today.
closing. It's just your opinion on the topic.
Oh well, I was gonna say don't we already do that when we vote? When we vote on yes and
That's
no
what you
on
think,
stuff, right?
That's what you think.
Well, but I agree. But it's like I said, nothing's gonna change unless it changes within, and it's not a big impact what we're gonna do outside. Look at the DACA people. The DACA people, they've been advocating since I was in college. I was in Rise, help advocating for them to get their what is it called?
I don't know.
The DREAM Act thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about it?
Yeah, that was 4 or 5 years ago, even more, and it's it hasn't even made much of change. So it's just time and time and time. So nothing's really gonna change unless it goes within, and there's too many white people in there.
You just gotta bring. You know what? I should not have given you the last word.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know what?
Subscribe.
No, I feel you. I have my own issues with white people,
button.
but I just think it's important that with any race, you don't paint them with a broad brush, right?
True.
Paint them with a painter's brush.
You paint them. You slap them with a paintbrush.
That's what's up.
Yup.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So you want to close this out, Chris?
Yeah. It was a great talk today, but unfortunately we hit our hour mark. I'm Ty. I'm not as smooth as him, and I'm not gonna sing this shit out.
Are you sure? Because I'm down, Chris.
I ain't down.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
Hey,
Where
fuck out of here with that
you?
shit. If you really want to listen to a good song on our last topic, what we were discussing, go listen to J. Cole, High 4 Hours.
Mm-hmm.
Great fucking song. It's all political. Yeah, listen to Brackets too. Tell me what you think.
Yeah, Brackets is
Tag
great.
him.
You know,
Tag him. Sure, he can endorse
Shoot us
Cole.
Shoot us a message in our Instagram page, our Twitter page, our YouTube, all that.
Yes.
Anything that we're on, let us know what you want to hear, or let us know your opinion about all this politics shit. What do you want to do? Is an app choice or whatever, choosing what you want your money invested in from an app, great? How would it work? Give us your ideas. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm Chris.
I'm Jacob.
I'm Diana.
I'm John.
You've been served.
I miss Taz Penis.
Okay.
Good job, guys. That was a good one. I like that.
So
I like where we got in the end. I didn't expect that at all.